Alright, you lot. Today we're tackling a question that's been on everyone's mind. Can Call of Duty be saved? Yeah, I know it sounds like a pipe dream at this point, but stick with me, cause there's hope. From matchmaking that don't make you want to pull your hair out, to actually fixing anti-cheat. And yeah, bringing back persistent lobbies. We're breaking it all down today. But before we dive into it, don't forget to like, subscribe and all that bollocks. Helps the channel grow, keeps rants coming. And honestly, it's the only way we're going to get the gaming industry to wake up. Alright, strap in, because this one's going to be a bumpy ride. Let's start with matchmaking, because if we're talking about saving Call of Duty, this is where it all begins. Matchmaking in its current form is less about creating a fun experience and more about squeezing every ounce of patience out of players. And it's all thanks to skill-based matchmaking, or as I like to call it, sweaty bollocks matchmaking. Here's the problem. Every match feels like you're in bloody World Championships. You play well for a few games and the system punishes you by throwing you into lobbies full of absolute demons. And don't get me started on how it makes casual players suffer too. It's either stomp or be stomped, and nobody's having fun. Solution? Loosen matchmaking. Balance skill with connection quality and let people breathe. Players don't mind occasional challenge, but they also don't want to feel like they're doing a job interview every time they queue up. Activision needs to focus on creating fun, not just sweaty matches that make you rage quit. But matchmaking fixes don't stop there. Bring back connection-based matchmaking. Remember when ping mattered? When you weren't teleporting across map because someone playing on a potato-powered connection? Prioritising stable servers and good ping over SBMM algorithms would improve experience tenfold. And finally, for the love of all things holy, stop trying to manipulate players into spending money through matchmaking. We know about engagement-optimised matchmaking patents. We know systems designed to make you feel bad, so you're more likely to buy a weapon bundle or a skin. It's manipulating, it's insulting, and it's killing franchise. Fix matchmaking, and you've fixed half the reason players are walking away. It's not hard. Just let people play a game without feeling like they're auditioning for a spot in COD Hall of Fame. And Activision, if you're listening, get your heads out your spreadsheets and start making a game people actually want to play. And that brings me to one feature that Call of Duty desperately needs to bring back. Persistent lobbies. Remember when you could finish a match, stick around and face off against the same players again? Whether you were seeking revenge on a guy who kept quickscoping you, or just vibing with a group of decent players, persistent lobbies gave Call of Duty a sense of community. Nah, second the match ends, lobbies disbanded faster than Activision can roll out a microtransaction bundle. Why? Because persistent lobbies let players build rivalries, friendships, and dare I say it, actually have fun. And that fun, apparently, bad for business. Activision don't want you hanging around. They want you isolated, jumping from lobby to lobby and staring at their overpriced cosmetics instead of bonding with other players. Here's the thing, persistent lobbies aren't just nostalgic, they're practical. They create continuity, they make the game feel alive. And let's be honest, they hold people accountable for their actions. Back in the day, if someone were being a toxic knobhead, they knew they had to face the same lobby next game. It forced players to either behave or double down and own their reputation. Nah, toxicity runs rampant because there's no consequences. Why would there be? You'll probably never see those players again. Persistent lobbies also reduce downtime. How many times have you sat through matchmaking, loading screen, and waiting for players, only to end up in a completely new lobby with worse connection? Keeping lobbies together means less time waiting and more time playing. Common sense. And let's not forget social aspect. Some of the best gaming moments come from banter with players you've just spent last 10 minutes battling. Whether it's rivalries, trash talk, or actual camaraderie, persistent lobbies make game feel personal. They give it soul. Some of COD has been sorely lacking. So why hasn't Activision brought them back? Probably because they're too focused on manipulating player behaviour for microtransactions. But here's the thing. Persistent lobbies wouldn't just make the game more enjoyable, they'd keep players coming back. Happy players stick around longer. Players who stick around longer are far more likely to spend than those who rage quit after every disbanded lobby. Bring back persistent lobbies, Activision. Stop disbanding best part of your game. Let players connect, compete, and carry those grudges on to the next match. Trust me, it'll do more for the franchise than another bloody event pass ever could. Next, let's talk about how Activision's taken adult out of supposedly adult game. Call of Duty is rated 18 in UK, and for mature in states. Yet somehow, we're all treated like a bunch of toddlers on a school trip. In-game chat monitoring and comm bans have reached a level of absurdity that makes you wonder if Activision even knows who their audience is. Look, it's simple. We're adults, playing an adult game. We're not here to have our conversations policed like we're in a nursery. If someone says something you don't like, there's a bloody mute button for that. Why does game need to step in and ban people for saying things that, let's be honest, are mild compared to profanity coming out of your character's mouth every 5 seconds? How is it okay for your operator you're playing as to scream you're fucking dead, but if you type get good in chat, suddenly you're banned for toxic behaviour? Hypocrisy is unreal. This is a game where you can literally gun people down with brutal execution moves, and yet they're worried about someone's feelings getting hurt in post-match lobby. Give me a break. Let players handle it themselves. If someone don't like what I have to say, they can mute me. Problem solved. We don't need Activision playing all monitor and treating us like a bunch of fragile snowflakes. And let's be honest here, this over-moderation ain't about creating a better experience, it's about control. They're not protecting the community, they're trying to sanitise it so you can sell more skins and bundles without upsetting the precious shareholders. But in doing so, they're alienating very people who've stuck with franchise through thick and thin. We're adults. We don't need a nanny. Let us say what we want. Let us deal with consequences ourselves. Activision, here's some free advice. Stop treating your players like children and start respecting the fact that we're grown-ups playing a game designed for grown-ups. Give us freedom to talk, joke, trash talk, and yeah, even argue. That's part of what makes multiplayer gaming fun. Someone don't like it, they can mute us and move on. Stop micromanaging our conversations and focus on fixing actual problems in your game. Because right now, only thing more broken than servers is your approach to community management. Now, shall we tackle what might be Call of Duty's biggest embarrassment? Ricochet Anti-Cheat. Let's be honest, it's about as effective as a wet tissue in Hurricane. Cheaters are everywhere, ruining matches, crashing lobbies, and somehow still making leaderboards while legit players are getting shadow banned for daring to play well. It's an absolute farce. Its core issue, account bans don't work. Cheaters just make new accounts and jump right back in. Takes them 5 minutes to get another account running and they're back in your lobbies before you've even loaded into the next game. What solution? Hardware ban. If someone gets caught cheating, ban their entire device. Sure, some hardcore cheaters will find workarounds, but for most of them, it's game over. Make it costly, make it inconvenient, and you'll see numbers drop fast. Next, let's talk about incentivising reports. Right now, reporting cheaters feels pointless. You send in a report, and all you'll get in return is silence. Or worse, you get flagged for reporting too many times. Other games like Rainbow Six Siege actively reward players for reporting cheaters. Why can't Call of Duty do the same? Give us feedback. Let us know cheaters have been dealt with, and throw in some in-game rewards for helping clean up community. It's a no-brainer. And let's not ignore bigger picture. Real problem is Activision's attitude. They don't see cheaters as a threat, they see them as a business opportunity. Every new cheater means a new account, and every new account boosts the player numbers for shareholders. They don't care about quality of experience as long as numbers look good on paper. And here's where it gets worse. Shadow banning legitimate players. You play too well, report too many cheaters, or even just hit a lucky streak, and suddenly you're wanting shadow ban gulag. Meanwhile, cheaters are running free, crashing ranked lobbies and laughing in your face. It's backwards, it's broken, and it's killing game. Fixing Ricochet ain't impossible. Start with hardware bans. Add a proper replay system and stop punishing players who are trying to help. Most importantly, start treating cheaters like problem they are, not bloody statistic to brag about. Until Activision takes this seriously, cheater epidemic will only get worse, and more players will walk away. Now let's address soulless, uninspired mess that is Call of Duty's AI-generated content. You got maps, skins, even in-game assets that look like they were slapped together by a half-baked algorithm. And Activision has audacity to charge premium prices for it. What happened to days when games had personality, effort and creativity? Take maps, for example. They're so lifeless it feels like AI just googled generic military setting and called it a day. There's no flow, no balance, no memorable moments. Compare that to iconic maps like Crash, Terminal and Nuketown. Those maps weren't just functional, they were fun, creative and instantly recognisable. You could tell they were crafted by designers who actually understood game. Nah, it's just a box with walls and a couple of recycled textures. And cosmetics? Don't even get me started. AI-generated operator skins that look like they were ripped out of a bloody bad mobile game. It's all flashy, meaningless garbage designed to grab your attention in store. But worst part, Activision's cutting costs by replacing real artists with AI. Very people who gave this franchise its unique look and feel are being phased out because an algorithm's cheaper. It's disgusting. It's real kicker. AI ain't just cost-cutting tool, it's a quality-cutting tool. When you replace creativity with automation, you lose art and soul at game. Players don't connect with AI-generated rubbish. They connect with content that feels human, that feels like someone gave a damn while making it. And let's not ignore impact that has on industry. By normalising AI-generated content, Activision's setting a precedent for other developers to follow. What happens when entire gaming industry starts churning out algorithm-generated mediocrity? We're left with games that all look and feel the same, and nobody's happy except accountants. Solution? Invest in real talent. Hire artists, designers, and storytellers who can bring Call of Duty back to life. Gears maps that feel alive. Skins that actually look cool. And events that are worth playing. Quality matters. And players notice when it's missing. And to players who keep buying this AI slop, you're part of the problem. Every time you drop 20 quid on one of those soulless skins, you're telling Activision, "Yeah, I love being scammed, please keep doing it." Stop buying garbage and maybe, just maybe, they'll be forced to deliver something worth our time and money. It's time to ditch AI shortcuts and bring back human touch. Because if Activision keeps cutting corners like this, Call of Duty won't just be soulless, it'll be dead. But here's a big question. Do Activision even care? Will they actually listen to OGs, players who built this franchise into the juggernaut it became? Because let's face it, Call of Duty didn't become a household name because of casual players who drop in for an hour a week. It became giant it is because of dedicated community, players who spent countless hours in lobbies, grinding for prestige, perfecting quickscopes, and creating rivalries and camaraderie that made this game unforgettable. But now, Activision don't care about OGs. They've turned their backs on players who built this franchise, trading loyalty for quick cash. They've chosen short-term profits over long-term success, and it shows. Everything from predatory microtransactions to manipulated matchmaking screams, "We don't give a toss about you as long as you're spending." And worst part, they don't see storm brewing. If Activision don't listen, if they keep ignoring people who made Call of Duty what it is, then here's a wake-up call. We made it. We can break it just as easily. Look around. Players are already walking away. Look at numbers. Look at growing communities in other games that actually respect the players. Call of Duty ain't untouchable. And more Activision doubles down on the garbage practices, closer they get to losing everything. It's not a threat, it's a fact. Franchises die when they stop respecting the fans. Just ask Battlefield. Just ask Halo. If Activision thinks Call of Duty is too big to fail, they're delusional. Because when hardcore fans leave, they take soul at game with them. Casuals might carry numbers for a while, but they won't stick around when game loses its identity. So, Activision, this is your last chance. Listen to OGs. Stop pandering to cash grab culture and start investing in players who've been here since day one. Because if you don't, well, let's just say community that built you into a behemoth know exactly how to tear you down. And trust me, we're not afraid to do it. But let's be real, none of this is going to happen unless we, players, demand it. Activision ain't going to change out of goodness of their hearts. They'll keep pumping out half-assed content, manipulating matchmaking, and ignoring cheaters until it stops making them money. That's where we come in. Here's what you can do. Stop buying into nonsense, stop supporting bad practices, and if game's broken, don't play it. Let Activision feel weight of the decisions where it hurts them most. In their wallets. And don't just stop there. Make your voices heard. Post in forums, comment on videos, tweet at them. Whatever it takes to let them know you're not happy. And if you want to join the fight, we've got a community ready and waiting for you. Jump into Discord. Links in the description for more debates and rants. Follow me on Twitter for more updates and spicy takes. And if you've been enjoying these no-holds-barred rants, consider becoming a member at the channel. It's optional. No pressure. But it helps keep lights on and supports content that Interfred call out bullshit in gaming. You'll get exclusive content, early access to videos, and satisfaction in knowing you're part of something bigger. Or even better, you can show your support by smashing that like button, hit subscribe, and leave your comments and questions below. Let me know your thoughts, your questions, your rant, hell, even your disagreements. I might just feature your comment in a video. I'll see you next time, you magnificent.